This right here is a wild edible that historically was banned throughout the United States. Today it's actually banned in many of the United States. And the question is why? And I'm going to tell you that later in the video. But secondarily, I'm going to show you the scientific literature on the benefits that have been shown in the peer-reviewed research on this particular plant and how it may benefit your health. Hey everybody, Chad Cruiser here with Health and Homestead, and this right here is one of the varieties of currant. You may have heard of red currant, black currant, and wax currant. The red and the black currant were historically outlawed in the United States in 1911 for many years, and the fantastic thing about the red and black currant is they taste really, really good. So the question is, why on earth would they have banned it? What's it good for?
And one of the great things about currants is that they are one of the highest antioxidant fruits that exist, really. And they are very high in things like vitamin C. Like if you would eat a cup of them, you'd get way more than the vitamin C that you would need in a day. Actually, they're so high in antioxidants that they have like twice the amount of antioxidants as something like farm-raised blueberries. So really, it's incredible. Now check out this research on their impact on urinary tract health. Researchers put plum, cranberry, and blackcurrant juices to the test to see if they might have a potential benefit in the area of kidney stones and urinary tract infections. There's something called metaphylaxis, and it's a term in the scientific literature that has to do with the process of preventing kidney stones. According to a study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, they concluded by saying that blackcurrant juice consumption could both help the treatment, if you already have kidney stones, and the metaphylaxis, or once again the preventing of kidney stone formation. And this was specifically for uric acid based stones, and evidently it was from the alkalizing impact of blackcurrant juice. So it looks as if consuming blackcurrant juice can make your urine more alkaline, and so this may be something that may prevent having this trouble in the future. Now, I'm a person who, I like to get the whole benefit of a plant, not just its juice, because one of the great benefits of having something like black currants or red currants is because they have various other components in them, like the pectin, we'll get to that in a moment, and also the fiber, which is so beneficial for your gut and can also be beneficial for your brain. Another thing that black currants have in it is something called resveratrol. Now, you probably heard about resveratrol because it was made popular because it's found in wine. And if it's found in wine, take a guess where it actually comes from. Well, it comes from grapes. It's found in grapes. It's also found in peanuts, but it's found in a very high levels in black currants. They did a study on rodents, and they had them take, now sadly, they made these creatures addicted to methamphetamine. And what they discovered was, when they also gave them resveratrol, that it lowered the addictiveness of the methamphetamine. And so there's talk that something like resveratrol, which is obviously found in grapes, peanuts, black currants, and so forth, that this resveratrol may be something that actually could make drugs and so forth less addictive. Now, we don't know that for sure yet, but something to consider. And since they taste so good anyway, and they have other benefits, hey, why not? Give it a try. Another exciting study that's actually taking place right now is a study looking at red currant consumption and giving it to specifically people with mild cognitive impairment, which obviously is kind of like a precursor to dementia or potentially Alzheimer's. So mild cognitive impairment means your mind is slipping. It's maybe not enough to totally destroy your life, but it is negatively impacting you. And they have found in the past a benefit to something like pomegranate. And so now they're also trying the same thing with red currants to see if it works. Do you want to know if it works? Yeah, so do I. It hasn't come out yet, so I'm looking forward to finding out the conclusion to that research. A little side note is that currants, which are relative to gooseberries, for those of you who are not, conversant with these, you don't know them well, and you're just learning about wild edibles, you might see the plant and you may not know the difference. Now, the currants are significantly smaller. They're typically smaller than your average blueberry. Now, many wild blueberries are quite small, so some of them might be the size of small wild blueberries, but the gooseberries are significantly larger than the currants. I mentioned that there's also pectin inside the currants, And the benefit of getting this pectin, rather than just getting the juice, a lot of times people just want to take in the juice of things. They think that they're getting so much more nutrition, and you're simply not when you do that. You're actually missing out on various components that can be beneficial for your health, like pectin. Now, pectin has been shown to be something that lowers blood glucose spikes, or spiking of blood sugar. Also, pectin is beneficial for regulating lipids or fats within the blood. So this is something that's fantastic, and so it's better to actually try to probably get it in the food rather than extracting something out of the food. Now, this next study is super exciting. It has to do with blackcurrant anthocyanins normalizing abnormal levels of serum concentrations in endothelin-1 in patients with glaucoma. Glaucoma is an eye disease that can often cause blindness, generally in part by pressure within the eye. It says in the study, our recent study, which involved a randomized, placebo-controlled, double-masked, I'm guessing that means double-blind, 24-month trial, revealed that oral administration of blackcurrant anthocyanins, which they call BCACs, slowed down the visual field deterioration and elevation of ocular blood flow of open-angle glaucoma, or OAG. Now that right there is quite exciting. Imagine you know someone with glaucoma, and consuming something like this might actually be able to slow down the progression of this blindness that they may come down with. And so for someone who might have this, this might be a life changer, at least for a time period. So you might be wondering, if this plant has so many benefits to it, if it tastes great, if it can grow in so many locations, why did they outlaw it back in 1911? Why did the federal government outlaw it? It wasn't as sinister as it may sound. Actually, there was something called the white pine blister rust, and this was something that potentially could affect the currants, and then it could spread to the white pine. And you say, okay, well, who cares? Well, the white pine was something that they would use to harvest for timber, and if this was going to destroy the timber in our nation, well, this, just get rid of this little berry and who cares? And so I get that. But the good news is there are varieties that are resistant to this pine blister rust, this white pine blister rust, and so you can actually get those in many states today. Finally, they let it go down to the state's decisions. Some places it's still illegal to grow it. It's actually illegal where I live, but not all over my state. Some states, you're absolutely welcome to do it. And like I said, you can get varieties that are not prone to having it anyway, but check it out for your locale so you don't get in trouble growing this thing. That's not worth it. And if you need to, you might be able to get a permit to be able to do it where you live. So I would challenge you though, if I could grow it, I totally would. And I would challenge you, if you have land and you have enough room for it, you could get several pounds off one bush, and you can end up saving that, harvesting it. You could dehydrate it, you could preserve it by freezing it. There's various methods you could use to preserve it. It's a fantastic food, tastes great. It can be quite tart. It can be quite tart. Now the wax currant is not so tart. It's just more sweet, but it's also enjoyable. But if you haven't seen our video on one of the most deadly plants in the world, you're going to want to check it out on this video right here. It's actually quite incredible. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications. God bless and have a fantastic day.